The show that I did yesterday with Leo Zagami, uh, between those two shows, you should see the one with Leo first and then this one with Juan. Basically, we're exposing deep state activities going back throughout history. And very, very interesting, very mind blowing, all of this. The way Juan tied it all together into, religious circles and so forth. And, how it basically it's that exposure, I think, is going to bring the whole that system down. All right. And also, we talked about how in Utah they have a class action suit that's going against the current governor, and it's could be something that the entire country will use to basically take down all of the deep state, illegal voting activities. So very, very amazing things going on. We're going to talk about some of that. The latest is that top Trump officials are moving onto military bases. Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, and others have taken over homes that until recently housed senior officer force will be 23,500 troops across all 50 states and 3 territories, documents said. All right, so the documents say most states will supply 500 personnel for the reaction force, with the rest falling between 250 and 450. So they'll be specifically trained. Now, you've probably seen a lot of these riots out there in Portland. They're not protesting in LA. Now, where they're at, you'll see taking down rioters, how to deal with them. You have to set up basically a shield wall while someone is taken from the crowd that is a real threat, maybe that has thrown stuff or has maybe assaulted one of the federal officers or so forth. They'll be taken down, they'll be cuffed, and while they're doing that, as you guys have been seeing, probably there's basically a phalanx of people that surround them and keep them safe while they're trussing somebody up and hauling them away. So that's part of the training those guys will be going through. Probably more specific training will some of those guys and gals will be how to take people from vehicles, because we've seen vehicles try to come in and assault people with vehicles. We've seen some of that. So some of those vehicles could be stopped, and then the people in those vehicles removed and then arrested and so forth. You'll probably see same thing in some buildings where people could start firing from buildings, and then you'll have a QRF basically will assault the building, take the building down. They'll if that happens where there's live fire coming from buildings or from building tops and so forth, you'll have the National Guard trained to actually react with real weapons. All right, so this is coming. This is probably something that's already been readied for to a great extent. I think if it really got out of control, that the military, the regular military that are trained like special forces and so forth, would actually get involved. So that's what we're going to see going forward. So some of the National Guard, which is easier for the president to basically push out the National Guard forces and so forth. But for regular, thank you. But for regular military, it's a little bit different unless there's a national emergency, which Juan said that might be called soon, a national emergency. So what would cause a national emergency to be called? All right, think about the SNAP program. So the SNAP program doesn't look like it's going to get funded. So you're going to have a lot of people have already said that they're going to get their food. They're going to steal it from stores, steal it from people, hold people up take their money from them when they go to the ATMs and so forth. If they don't pass anything after tomorrow, guys, I would highly recommend that you don't go shopping this weekend, right? And you don't go out and go to the ATM. Don't blow this off, all right? Don't be wise guy and think Mike doesn't know what he's talking about, right? I absolutely know what I'm talking about because I've been in combat zones quite a bit, guys. We could very, very easily see combat zones in our cities very soon after this SNAP program, if it doesn't go through. I would be surprised if it doesn't, but it could be another one of those things that the Trump administration is willing to let this go through so that people can see just how evil and corrupt the Democrat Party is. It needs to go away, and this could be one of those things. Of course, they're already trying to spin it like it's the Republicans' fault, although the Republicans have been trying over and over again to pass some kind of bill to just target the funding for the SNAP program. So the Democrats are like, no, we get everything we want, or we don't want anything for anyone. So another thing they may be looking at is the National Guard not being funded as well. We saw that hurricane that went across the very east tip of Jamaica. It almost like it was targeting Guantanamo. All right, so they evacuated Guantanamo. Probably kept a few. I'm sure they kept some personnel there. You always do, but for the most part, they evacuated. Now, what are they trying to do? The deep state are they? Because they know, and probably some people have already gone to Guantanamo and trials and so forth. Are they trying to like destroy Guantanamo? Who knows? But whatever. Maybe it's just a little, Juan talked about it too in our show. Maybe it's just a poke at the people that are doing that, because they know that it's coming for them. So they're gonna put up resistance, wherever they can. One of the resistances is for the Democrat Party, which is basically their puppets. The complete Democrat Party is a puppet of the deep state, and they're gonna continue to resist at all cost, supplying money for the federal government so they can pay the military and the National Guard and the SNAP program, so that they, in the eyes of the Democrats and those people that are consciously compromised, will believe it's the Republicans' fault, right? Because they should have just let the Democrats have whatever they wanted, right? And fund whatever they want, transgender operations, whatever, whenever, as long as we get our food, it doesn't matter. All right, so that's one of the things that's going to be, probably used by the Democrats until at some point when the Democrats are finally gone. It won't be a problem anymore. Until that time, we're going to continue to see this stuff. All right. So Maryland Democrat indicted on extortion charges for allegedly putting hidden cameras out to use maybe an extortion against her opponent. So her political foe, she was concerned about Attar, Attar, Senator, Maryland State Senator Dahlia Attar, Democrat from Baltimore, has been hit with federal charges of extortion and conspiracy after she allegedly concocted a plan to plant hidden cameras on a political enemy to obtain blackmail. So this is also something we're seeing in Utah, and something we're seeing in Hawaii, and something we're also seeing in Oregon, and possibly coming up in Colorado. where these Democrats and rhinos and so forth are being exposed for election fraud and so forth. So it goes on to say, Atara was concerned about a political foe saying negative things about her during her 2022 campaign for the House of Delegates and planned to use hidden camera footage to expose an affair, according to the Washington Post. The unnamed foe, identified only as victim 1, was a consultant who had worked with Atara in the past. They reportedly had a falling out. However, after working together during an earlier campaign back in 2018, Attar, who was the first Orthodox Jewish woman to serve in the state Senate, wasn't alone in the scheme either. Her brother, Joseph Attar, a real estate developer in Baltimore, was also identified in the indictment, along with Kalman G. Finkelstein, who was the first Orthodox Jewish officer in the Baltimore Police Department since the 1960s, the Washington Post reported. Her brother and Finkelstein are charged with 8 counts related to extortion and wiretapping. So the indictment outlined how the defendants allegedly sought to plant hidden cameras and a smoke detector within an apartment that the former consultant was using to make recordings of her and another victim. So a lot of this stuff is starting to be exposed. It's going to start to come out, I think, hot and heavy. And it's what does SNAP stand for? Caroline, look it up and let us all know. So, all right. So I don't know off the top of my head. It is something about food, right? So SNAP. You guys ask me simple questions, you can find out yourself, but Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, right? So in Louisiana, threat of lost SNAP food benefits is rattling the vulnerable. As SNAP cuts loom, there are food assistance resources helping fight food insecurity. Some states are saying they're not going to do anything. Walmart addresses social media rumors that it will close stores when SNAP benefits stop, right? So I'm sure they're saying they're going to stay open, even though they're probably going to be targeted, guys. Walmart will definitely be targeted. If this thing goes on into the weekend, it's basically people are going to snap. All right, you're going to have snapping. All right, snap people snapping. All right, they're going to snap mentally, and they just won't care. All right, they want their sodas, they want their Fritos, and all that stuff. And if they can't get them, they're gonna like riot, right? So, all right, so be heads up, guys. I'm telling you, don't f around with this. If this goes down, if they don't get their money, if they don't get their SNAP, if they're not snappy with their SNAP, and I'm kind of joking around a little bit, but it could be deadly serious, all right? All right, Utah's election system under fire. All right, so this is something that Juan brought out, and I already signed up for it. Anyone can sign up for it. It's a class action. So after reviewing the brief below, should you wish to be party to the class action suit, please send us your name and email by submitting the form below. So blow it up, guys. Join a class action. This is worded, Juan said, and I started reading a little bit of it. It's worded so that this could be used throughout the United States, in every state, every county, you name it. Where there was election fraud, and we know there was election fraud, this could potentially be used. All right, so I'm gonna click on this. You can click on this yourself. This is by Tracy Halverson, Sophie Anderson, Nancy Inman, Stephen Huber, Wayne Wickizer, and Daniel Newby. So they're going after the governor. This action targets a racketeering enterprise within Utah, orchestrated by defendants, including Governor Spencer Cox and Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, to manipulate Utah's election laws from 2016 to 2024 by unlawfully certifying candidates who sought nomination through signature gathering under Utah Code, blah, blah, blah. All right, so this is some serious stuff because we know this was done in every state during the 2020 election and has been used since, as they're pointing out here, even all the way up into 2024. So a lot of different states, like we were talking about, are probably going to be able to use this. Now, if you go at the bottom of this page, it says apply to join our class action suit. It's got a little form there. I've already filled it out. All that is your name, your email, phone number, send it in, and boom. All right, so very, very easy. Thank you for taking time to fill out this form. So go to the site, utahcorruption.com, and you can go through any part in here that you find interesting. It's quite large, all of the different paper. I guess lots and lots, right? So it has some very interesting. So I guess there's some exhibits. Before Utah passed legislation known as Bill 54, Utah election law gave political parties freedom to choose how they would nominate candidates for general election. And I guess they corrupted that and did some bad things, right? So it looks like some people are going to get spanked, guys. We're going to start to see some of these people probably in a lot of these governorships go to jail, right? If this thing goes through, it's going to be game on. So Janet, you're up in Northern California somewhere. I'm not going to say where, but you're saying Walmart closed here over a year ago. How about that? Wow. All right. So they will have to worry about getting raided. Right. So anyway, yeah, Salvatore, absolutely. Hope so. We all hope so, right? So it looks like it's moving in the right direction, guys. I'm very, very excited about it. Of course, you know, Mitt Romney was senator there in Utah, and he was roundly booed. I played that in a show a couple days ago. So he was at GOP convention, Utah GOP convention, and you know, he was like anti-Trump. He was a bad man. He was a very bad man on many different levels. Right. So so I think he's going to. I don't know where he's at. We haven't heard from him for a while. Hopefully he was having to hunker down there in Guantanamo when the hurricane came over. They were going to let him go. Right. So it's okay. You'll be safe in the bowels of Guantanamo, Mitt. So I don't know. He's probably out there running around, but he needs to be there. He deserves to be there. Right. He is a really bad man. All right. I'm going to share this screen on this. I'm kind of skeptical of this. Maybe it did happen, so I don't want to step over bounds here. This was an actual thing that happened, but this is something that has been exposed as far as people that are still alive that get their organs taken from them. And there is, I think, a big push right now to find hospitals and other, I guess, hospitals that are actually, taking organs from people that don't need their organs taken from them because they're still alive, but they're saying they're dead. And so they're taking them. I mean, it's up to you guys. If you really believe, I took myself off this decades ago because I saw how they could use this to basically, if you have a really bad injury and you're unconscious and they see you're an organ donor and they're like, cha-ching. All right. So for me, being a military guy, in a state, far from my relatives and so forth, I get in an accident. there's no one to come and, protect me. Right. And I know this has happened to a lot of people. I knew this decades ago. I saw this coming decades ago. And I I think maybe the first few years, I thought, oh, that's a good idea. If I'm dead, then yeah, use my organs to save other people. And then the more I thought about it, and the more I kind of looked around, I'm like, that's dumb. That's dumb. All right. So father to be was a single punch to the head, right? Lucky punch. So a lucky punch to the head. He goes unconscious, and they're saying he did not survive, and they organ harvested him. All right. So father to be killed with single punch in Arizona bar fight. I would not trust anything in Arizona. Anything. All right. We know Arizona is corrupt to the hilt, guys. All right. They need to do election fraud in Arizona. Bad. They need bad election fraud in Arizona. And money laundering through Maricopa County, that's already been exposed. So through the cartels. All right. So father to be with single punch to Arizona just weeks before his son's birth. So this is the guy that punched him. Allegedly threw a punch that caused Pizzatola to suffer a fatal brain injury. All right. So I don't know if it was a sucker punch or what it was, but they got into a fight. Here he is with his wife expecting. They got the pictures, ultrasound pictures there. All right. This is weeks before his demise. So there's a GoFundMe for her. Kristen, his wife, Krisan, Krisan, Krisan. So 5 suspects. I guess they were, this guy was at a bar. He and his buddies got a little out of control, probably had a little too much to drink, and they kicked him out of the bar. So they're outside, and they're already a little feisty out there. And so it sounds like somebody got bumped, and then the fight started. So the 5 suspects, Julia Husser, 27, Krista Molina, 27, Tony Becker, 26, Mark Whitford, 23, and Menezes were arrested. That's the guy who threw the punch. Last Wednesday in connection with the deadly bar fight, police confirmed. So Menezes faces second-degree murder charges, while the rest of the crew was booked on varying assault charges, court records show. All right. So here he is, handsome guy, looks super healthy. I'm super suspect that, one punch could have killed the guy. All right. So I don't know. So it says, all he ever wanted to be was the best father ever and the best husband, Krisan said, but he wasn't finished. So I guess around, he was at the bar, and she texted him or something. It says, I texted him that I had gotten home, and he texted me back and said that he wished that I was there, but that he was so proud of me for staying home and taking care of our baby boy, and that he loved me, Kristen told the outlet. So this happened in Scottsdale. This is the most upscale area of Arizona. Very, very high-end area. So I'm just super suspect of the whole thing. And maybe it happened the way it's described. I don't know. So it's about 3:30. I saw that his location changed to the emergency room and dropped everything. So you're at home at 3:30 waiting, right? With the baby boy and soon to be born, and ran down there in my pajamas. Ran down there. All right. I guess ran down there means she got in a car and drove there. the grieving widow recalled, right? All he ever wanted was to be the best father. So Pizzatola was also able to save 5 people's lives through organ donation after the shocking incident his family recalled. 5 people. Boy, they just went to town with his organs. All right, so I guess people have done GoFundMe, raised over $76,000 of his $85,000 goal as of Tuesday evening. Menezes told the court at a hearing that he was simply having a bad night when he allegedly threw the fatal blow. I don't know what that means, but it's a bad night when you get charged with second-degree murder. On hindsight, I guess. It was a bad night. It was not supposed to happen like that at all, and there was no malicious intent for that at all, he said. He is being held on $1 million bail. So, I mean, just imagine if this gentleman was still alive and they decided to just go ahead and organ harvest him. Because this is happening, guys. This is absolutely happening in these hospitals. And now this guy is going to get charged with second-degree murder. And they just organ harvested him, and he didn't need to be. I would say, geez, maybe we wait a little bit. Maybe we got it wrong that he's brain dead, because we know a lot of people have returned, right? It's very, very suspect to me. All right. So, be it as it is, right? I wish the best for everyone involved. So it's very sad. If it even friggin' happened, right? So it could be an organ harvesting, make sure you have, on your license that you want to give organs. And because there's a big campaign to go after these hospitals, like I said. And so they'll do something like this to get sympathy, to get some sympathy going their way. So don't be surprised. You're not an organ donor. Good job. I don't recommend it, guys. I do not recommend it, but you got to do what you feel. All right. If you feel, Mike, if I'm dead, I'm dead. I want to give, my organs aren't going to do me any good being dead. So let them take them. Now, if you live in a place where you completely trust, now let's say you're on the road. Let's say you're in the car, you're traveling. You don't know all the places where you're going. For me, if I get in an accident and there's an issue, hook me up to keep me alive as long as you can. And when it's been a while and there's no return, there's no recovery, there's no brain function, and I'm deteriorating, lying there, pull the plug, right? Don't harvest my organs though. Right? No. So, because there's energy in your body. All your organs have your energy. So there's a lot of people that have memories, from people that they get organs from. It's pretty crazy. So I don't want everybody having my memories out there. Right? So, all right. So and are any of my gifts, right? I got some pretty interesting gifts, and I don't want them to be used and abused, right? So that's what happens, I believe, with a lot of these people. Yes, MJ, it's murder. Absolutely, Janet. So if they're organ harvesting, and like I said, the guy was within hours after he got punched, he's getting organ harvested. Just really, really suspect to me, right? And I think you guys are good with that, right? So, but again, it's your choice. I am not a doctor, right? But and I'm not a and I hope that if ever something like that happens to you, you do not get a corrupt doctor in a hospital that you're in, right? Because your organs will be bye bye, and they will make money off you. All right. So we know that's happening. It's been exposed. So just laying that out there. Maybe some of you guys haven't heard yet. So silver is expected to explode big, 100 plus in the next 6 months. I say in the next 6 months, we could be seeing $125, $150 silver. That's just me. I'm just making that. I'm, from looking at charts and, being involved with silver since I was a little boy. It just feels like this is really going to take off, guys. It's a possibility for all of you to get unimagined wealth going forward. But you have to, you have to decide on your own. Now, I'm going to do a show with Dr. Kirk tomorrow at 12 Pacific time, 3 Eastern time. And because I've talked to people, because I've been promoting getting silver, getting your funds in silver, your retirement funds in silver, so forth. And so I've talked to some people, and people took my advice, right? But unfortunately, they didn't take my advice and go with Dr. Kirk Elliott, right? And I think they got had, right? Bigly, all right? So Dr. Kirk Elliott has front end loaded the amount that he charges. So in the back end, so for me, my silver has tripled from what I've started out with, tripled in price. So I'm very happy. I know it's going to like triple again, quadruple, quintuple, and sextuplet, whatever. So it's gonna keep going. All right, 10x. I think it's got a 10x in it, maybe even more, guys. So it's under 50 right now. It's like around skirting 48. It's built a nice little. I think it bottomed, pulled back because it was hot. It was very hot, and so was gold. They ran hot and heavy fast, and they need a little rest, right? Need to take a little break and catch their breath. And I think now they've caught their breath, and they're like getting back up to the line, getting ready to charge out again, guys. So just be heads up that this is a buying opportunity with gold and silver right now. I've always recommended silver. Definitely want to be in silver. And I think it's like the most incredible opportunity, and it's so easy to invest in it. But again, I've seen that some silver shops, or not silver, but coin shops and so forth. That's where you trade in your coins, your silver, your gold, whatever. They're not taking, some of them aren't taking silver right now because I guess like what they do is they take some of the silver, like the junk silver, 90% or less, and basically they'll take it. They'll take your silver plates, they'll take your silver jewelry, and they'll send it to like these places that basically melt it down and take all the impurities out of it, all the alloys that could be in it. It's not 100% silver, so they like take all that out. They go through a smelting process, whatever. And those smelters or whatever are like going full bore. They're working 7 days a week. And so they're at this point, some of them aren't taking anything else, guys. If you have US Mint coin or like Canadian or whatever, any mint coins of any, other like Canadian, English, Aussie, what do they call those little birds? Those little, can't think of their names, but they like had those birds on the Aussie coins. I thought they're pretty cool. And so if you're kind of into all those coins, you've collected them over the years, you could probably take those in and trade them in at some point. I would not do that now, but if, I mean, you get kookaburra. Thank you, A-Dub. So kookaburras. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, blah, 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 blah. So that's all I know about that. So I used to sing that as a kid, but I guess I didn't sing it enough because it's I remember. All right, so or is it a kiwi? Could be the kiwi. Kookaburra, I think they have both actually. Kiwi and the kookaburra. Those are fun. All right. So I used to do collectibles, guys, when it's time to like cash in and everybody's cashing in, and the market's moving fast one way or the other. You're not going to get a good price for those collectibles. You're going to get whatever it is, silver is in it, or you can go try and sell it yourself. All right. So just get the coins, or have some of the coins on you in a good amount, because it could be good for bartering in the future if shit goes to hell. And it could be also a way that you could have quick cash if you need it going forward. If you lose your job, whatever. Hope you don't, but that's another reason why you want to get these. Get bars. That's right, Matt. So you want to have as high ounce bars. 5, 10 ounce bars are good to have. So that's really the way to go. You don't need to have fancy coins. They're not puffins. No, I don't know about puffins, but maybe there's some out there. I haven't seen them. Dimes. Yeah. You're talking about, junk silver. Junk silver is like 90% silver. And, like I said, that's going to be tough. I think even with the junk silver guys, you're not going to get the same amount as you would with a full ounce or with 5 or 10 ounce bars, right? Or more, whatever, 100 ounce bars, whatever. I have 1,000 ounce bars with Dr. Kirk Elliott, lots of them. So, although those are hard to come by now. So you still get with Dr. Kirk Elliott, because if you did 1,000 ounce bars, you would get a certain very, very nice price. So the higher ounce bars that you get, the less you're going to pay for the silver per ounce, because every one of those coins have to be stamped, and it takes more, smelting and, stuff. And so it's all fancy, and you're going to pay for that. So with the bars, it's, they just pour it and put a little, 99.99 points, whatever, pure, and then you're good, right? And maybe they'll stamp, where it comes from. So that's all it is. So it's cheaper per ounce that way. So if you do the 1 ounce coins, if you're doing, if you go to the US Mint right now and buy a 1 ounce, I think I don't know what it is right now. It's probably close to $100, if not more. It's ridiculous. You don't ever want to go through the US Mint anymore, right? Unless you just have to do it. That's the way I used to get all my coins. I learned the hard way. But you can buy them through different dealers or go to a coin shop and get the best deal, right? But the ultimate best deal is to go with Dr. Kirk Elliott, because like I said, I talked with some people over the weekend or last week when I was at LifeWave conference in Anaheim. And I was talking to some very, very incredible people. And they said, yep, I took your advice. I got silver. And I said, who'd you get it with? And they're telling me. And I said, well, what'd you pay? And I was like, oh, I didn't want to tell them you got effed. Right? I didn't want to tell them. But there's some people out there who got totally effed, guys. And might be some of you. All right. If you didn't go with Dr. Kirk Elliott, went with another group. I don't know. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. He'll give some insight on that. Remember, it's a free consultation with Dr. Kirk Elliott, right? And he and his team aren't going to steer you wrong. They're just going to give you the straight up facts, what you can do, what you can't do, how you can move money. If you're somewhere else in the world, how you can invest, as long as it stays in the depository, because he's not going to ship overseas. He doesn't ship overseas, but he does ship in the United States. I've gotten gold and gold bars and gold coins from him just to get my own little stash going, right? Just in case, I need to run, right? And I need money. All right. So that's what GoXRP. Yeah. See how that works for you going forward. But that's gonna, because it was down big today. It was down huge today. I think there's still a little bit of down. Maybe tomorrow the stock market's gonna be back up because Amazon and Apple came out with some good results. Today it was down pretty hard. Crypto was down super hard. I've been saying that I felt like the stock market needed a pullback before it goes to like its ultimate highs. So we may still see that, or we may not. So again, this market is way out of control, guys. I can tell you what the charts say, what common sense says. Common sense says this thing should have never gone up back in 2008, all right, 2009. It should have kept going down, should have bottomed to a good extent and then gone sideways and then start to build up naturally. So now it's got to crash, and it's got to crash massively, all right? So we're going to continue to see this thing, whipsaw up and down, because that's what happens towards the end. Now you look at, and this is happening around the world, you look at the stock market in Japan, and until 2 years ago, it hadn't seen its all-time high back before 2000, right? When we had our stock market bubble crash, right? And the NASDAQ went down 80%. So with them, I think it went down the same, and it stayed down for I don't know, it's like over 20 years, right? And then it started to gradually come back up. And now it's at all-time highs. What was it back then? I think it was I think the high was I just remember it was 3666. Yeah, it had 666 in it, of course. And it liked it. And once it crashed, I think it was 98 or 99. It crashed before our stock market did. It didn't come back for 20 years. You didn't see that high again, and now it's at 51,000, right? So all-time highs for stock markets all over the world, but it's not going to last, guys. And crypto, it's going to get spanked. You've seen crypto today with the stock market crashing, NASDAQ crashing today. I say crash, but it was down, almost 1.5%, whatever it was. And crypto was down a lot more. Now it was a tattletale to me because I saw crypto 1 or 2 days ago started to go down. And it's why is it going down when the NASDAQ's going up? I bet it's telegraphing. And sure enough, it was, because the day NASDAQ went down pretty hard. Now it's super overbought. The NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, they're all super overbought. Yesterday, they all hit all-time highs, right? So it pulled back today. Looks like it may get a pop again tomorrow. Will it pull back? If we look at the indicators from past market cycles, it should get a pullback. So whatever. I mean, for some of you, I don't care. I'm not in the stock market anyway, whatever. So, but it does make a difference, because when that stock market goes down, it's going to go down 50%. And then it'll get a little pop, and then it'll eventually go down. And it will be down, guys, 85 to 90% in my estimation. We'll see a 1929 type crash. So that will have massive reverberation reverberations throughout all of society. And you just need to be aware of that. So that's why you need to be in silver, because you'll be able to weather it. And maybe if you have enough silver, you'll be able to be super profitable, right? Where you can buy up real estate that's going pennies on the dollar from what it was. Real estate's already crashing everywhere. I said this would happen back in 2022, and they pumped the stock market up. It should have gone down in 2022, back in October, and then it turned around, just went up and kept going up, right? So they manipulated it up, and all of you crypto bros, all right, I guess you could call me a crypto or not a silver bro, silver and gold bro, but you crypto bros and you market bros, you're going to get spanked, guys. And then you're going to be looking at, I wish I'd listened to you, and I wish I'd been a silver bro. Right? So you're going to find out. You're going to F around, you're going to find out, guys. All right. So if you're not silver, you're going to wish on the other side of this in about a year or so, probably, or maybe less, that you had listened. All right. So now I know a lot of you ladies out there, you've told me how you got your husbands into silver. That's good. And there's some of you have just like given up on your husbands and just put your own money into silver. Good for you. Some of you have done really well, and your husbands are looking like, dang, right? Because yeah, the stock market's up, but the stock market isn't up as much as silver, not even close, right? So silver's up like 70%, or when it was at its high. I don't know what it is, probably pull back a little bit since then, but it'll go a lot higher. It'll be over 100% this year, right? And stock market over the last 3 years, maybe and this has been incredible stock market returns. Even over the last 3 years, it's probably, no matter